Hey, this is Amar. In this video, I'll be talking about the power of meditating on cannabis. I'll be taking you through some of the benefits, how this has really helped me on my own journey of transformation and awakening. And I'll also be sharing with you a protocol for how I've used this. Okay, so before we get into this video, I would like to say that if you're new to the channel and you are trying to change your life, I'd like to welcome you to subscribe and remember to hit the bell notification too, so you're notified every time that I upload a new video. So I just want to get a couple of things out the way first. The first one is a disclaimer. I'm in no way, shape or form promoting the use of drugs in this video. I'm just sharing information, right? Whatever you do is your responsibility, let's say. The second thing I want to say is I haven't been uploading as often as I usually have done in the past, and there's a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is I've actually finished writing a book. Okay, so the book is going to be called Authentic Transformation. It's currently in the process of being published, should be out in the next couple of weeks or so, just through Amazon, so look out for that. I will obviously make you more aware of that as well. So let's get into this topic. The first thing I want to talk about is that I've actually been thinking about making this video for about a year. This has been on my mind. Like, this is something I need to make a video on. But in all honesty, I was kind of put off. Firstly, it's quite a controversial topic. Anytime you make a video about drugs, even I have videos about drugs on my channel, it's quite controversial. And I don't want to be labelled as this drug user, to be honest. And you'll understand why as we get into the video. The second reason is because if you do a search on YouTube, right, you're going to find a lot of people talking about cannabis and how it can't help you on the spiritual journey, how it lowers consciousness and it really hinders your growth. And it really does, depending on where you're coming at it from. If you're a recreational user, cannabis is going to really limit your growth. And that's what a lot of these videos talk about, is people who use it recreationally. What I'm going to present to you here is something very different. I'm going to present this to you in a very conscious way of using it, not your regular stoner, recreational, watch Netflix and eat junk food type mentality, a completely different way. So them videos have truth. This is a different type of video. That's kind of how I see it. Okay, and really, I've got a lot of growth out of it. And at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. I was like, you know what? It's helped me so much. This information needs to be shared at the end of the day. So it's up to you how you take it. You may not agree with me, which is fine. But if it does help some people out, then it served the purpose that I wanted it to serve, right? I'd like to share an analogy with you. This analogy will help you understand and give context to the message I'm trying to share here. And the analogy I'm going to share is about someone who goes to the gym. So you've got, let's just take Mr. Average Joe Blogs, goes to the gym regularly. He's trying to build muscle, lose fat, and just get in better shape, right? He's going consistently and he's making steady progress. Now, if you were to give this average person supplements, all the best supplements on the market, he still continues to go to the gym, but now he has these super duper supplements and the progress he makes is exponentiated. He makes so much quicker progress because he had them supplements versus the person who didn't. And the progress he makes is so much quicker, right? In a very similar way, you can be meditating consistently every day, right? And making steady progress. But when you learn how to meditate on cannabis, the speed of your progress in meditation is going to exponentiate. You're going to become a much better meditator, much quicker, right? You can probably make years and years of meditative growth in a couple of months or 6 months or so. That's how powerful cannabis can be as an aid for meditation. That's all it is, just an aid. You know the benefits of meditation, right? It can literally transform your life. It is life transforming benefits. So we're just using cannabis to help us become better meditators so we can get the benefits of the meditation. It's not about the cannabis. This is what I really want you to understand. Okay, and something I see a lot of now is psychedelic use. A lot of people are interested in using psychedelics or are using psychedelics. It's just growing so much because they've been seen to be very beneficial in helping people overcome traumas and negativity and develop and grow and really become the best version of themselves. What I also see is a lot of people who are very, very inexperienced in psychedelics. Sometimes people are flying to foreign countries for weeks to go and partake in like psychedelic ceremonies and rituals, and that's okay. But what I'm suggesting is that if you're a novice with any type of drug, you can literally experiment with cannabis to help you kind of almost bridge to that harder stuff. That harder stuff isn't necessarily going to solve all your problems in a 2-week retreat, believe it or not. You're probably going to need to go through multiple trips. If you watch Leo from Actualize.org, very recently he said that you need to do at least 50 trips. And the reason I'm saying this because instead of people diving into stuff they really have no clue about, you can actually use cannabis as a bridge to that stuff by learning how to meditate with it. You'll better start to understand your internal world. Then when it comes to doing them psychedelic trips, you'll get so much more out of it. Because I see a lot of people diving into the psychedelic trips just dealing with a lot of surface layer stuff that you could have just dealt with through something like cannabis, which is obviously not as powerful or as strong, but it can help you wipe out and clear a lot of the surface level stuff. It can even help you deal with a lot of the deeper stuff. So what I'm saying is maybe you don't need to dive into that crazy world of psychedelics. Maybe you can get the healing and the transformation you're looking for through something softer like cannabis. And there's less stigma attached to it. It's a lot more socially acceptable. It's more readily available. And it can literally transform your life if you kind of experiment with it in this way. So now I want to talk about exclusions. Who this video is not for, who this method, this technique, this protocol I'm going to share, who it's not for. It's not for recreational smokers. If you're a stoner or someone who smokes regularly and you like to just chill out and do whatever you do while you're high, this is not for you because you're probably not going to be able to be disciplined with it. The way I'm going to present this to you is a very, very disciplined approach to it, where you're only smoking once a week maximum. So unless you can do that and use it very, very with a lot of integrity, with a lot of intention, then it's probably not for you. It's probably not for you also if you have a past history of problems with this. If you got addicted in the past and you managed to wean yourself off it, then maybe this isn't for you. If you're going to fall back down into that trap, it's probably not for you. Okay, what I'm going to present to you requires a lot of integrity, a lot of discipline. We're literally going to be using this as a source of medicine. I want you to think of cannabis as medicine, not something you do to just fuck about and get high. It's medicine. If you keep it in a jar, literally put a label on it saying this is medicine. That's the kind of level of integrity and intention and discipline you need to have around it. And when you have that level of intention around it, you're going to get so much more out of it. Because when you smoke it, you will literally be almost, you're getting into that mindset of this is a medicine, this is healing, this is helping me. Instead of I'm high now, I'm just going to kind of do whatever I do. I'm going to eat crap or watch whatever I watch. None of that. It's a very, very intentional approach that we're using here. Very, very intentional. So now I want to start getting into this protocol, help you understand kind of how I've used it myself and maybe how you can use it also. So it's going to require, you're going to need at least 2 hours. I would say 2 to 3 hours or as long as possible. So clear out at least 2 hours of your time. What you're going to do is you're going to smoke the cannabis. I personally use a bong because I don't like the tobacco in joints, but however, whatever's the easiest way for you. And as soon as you've smoked that cannabis, you're going to go immediately into meditation. No hanging about. Immediately, because when you smoke cannabis, it hits you very quickly. and you're going to go straight into meditation. I would recommend that you use some type of binaural beat or maybe even a guided meditation. What you'll find is the first 30 minutes of that high, you can go very deep very quickly. That's where you're really going to start to deepen your capacity to meditate, because you'll drop deeply. You'll bypass the ego. It's easier to bypass the ego when you're stoned. It's almost as though the barrier between the conscious and the subconscious is softened or weakened. So you can drop much deeper than you normally can. It helps to have the music or the guided meditation to go along with it, but you might be surprised just how deep you can go and how quickly you can reach them depths. And because it feels kind of pleasant when you're stoned, it makes the meditation easier. When you're usually meditating, you probably have this insistent thinking and thought and boredom and frustration. All of that stuff is generally lessened. So you can literally stay in meditation for longer. And this is what I'm suggesting. You stay in meditation for a couple of hours because it's more pleasant. You're welcome to change the recording, or if you want to take another hit or whatever after about an hour or so, you're welcome to do that as well if you feel like you didn't go deep enough. And a lot of stuff's going to start to come up, really, the longer you stay there. After about half an hour or an hour, you'll deepen. And in that deepening, stuff starts bubbling up to the surface. It's not as obvious as maybe it is on a psychedelic, but maybe old emotions that you'd been suppressing or old traumas or negativity, they'll start coming up. And you need to be very mindful of this, because if you're not experienced, it can get quite overwhelming. I've had situations where very powerful, overwhelming emotions have come up. And I've had to break the meditation because I didn't know how to deal with it. But it's better you face this while you're stoned rather than facing it while you're tripping in some foreign country. Because when you learn how to welcome and manage these heavy emotions during a stone meditation, then think how much you'll get out of a meditation when you are under some psychedelic influence. You'll be much more efficient at navigating your internal world, managing anything that comes your way. That's what I'm saying. This cannabis can really use as this training, this bridge that can make you much better at going inward and managing everything that's going on inside. So we're using it with so much integrity and so much intention to show us what we need to work on. And as you go to these depths, you're going to become a very good meditator, providing you can integrate these depths that you're going to. And the way that I recommend people do that is to, every day after you've smoked, so I reckon people smoke once a week and meditate for at least 2 hours longer. Sometimes I meditate for 7 to 8 hours after smoking. But 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours is a good starting point. And then I recommend you do half an hour a day, every single day, without any aid, just sober. That is where you're integrating that depth that you went to. If you don't do the clear meditation every day, then you won't integrate it, and then the next time you come to do the stone meditation, you'll have come back a few steps. This is about holding on to the growth that we are and the new levels that we're going to. We need to integrate them. For that reason, I recommend don't do the stone meditation more than once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. This is really how intentional we're being with it. So the benefits from this, obviously you're going to have a much greater expanded consciousness and awareness. You're going to become a much more aware of emotions and stuff that you need to deal with, because cannabis naturally increases your sensitivity. When you're in meditation with your eyes closed, you're going to become much more aware of what's going on inside and what needs your attention. Something I hear from a lot of people is that something that I hear from a lot of people is that cannabis makes them feel anxious. It doesn't actually. It just shines a light on what's already there. If you feel anxious after you smoked, the cannabis has just made you more aware of it, and now you're anxious. So that's what it's doing. It's not actually causing the anxiety. So something I hear very often is just making you more aware of it. And as you begin to understand this, you can use cannabis as a torch almost to show you what you need to work on. You'll just have better focus, better concentration, better emotional management. You'll be more in control of your thoughts and emotions. I've even had mystical experiences, believe it or not. I've had 2 mystical experiences, life-changing experiences. Usually you only identify mystical experiences with psychedelics, but I've had a couple on cannabis. As you go deeper, you're going to have these type of breakthroughs, which are really going to be powerful and change your life. So I'm coming to the end of the video now, so I just want to say that if you're serious about doing this, you do once a week, no more, for a couple of hours. Do it for a couple of months and then just look at your progress and your capacity to meditate and the level of your awareness, how much it's expanded, how much more you are in tune with yourself. And as I said earlier, this is not about the cannabis, it's about the meditation. We're just using the cannabis as an aid to make us better meditators. I'm at a stage now where I don't really do it anymore. I don't feel like I need to. I can drop very deeply into meditation. I can quieten my mind pretty easily now. So I've used it. It's helped me. I'm grateful for it. And I'm getting to the point where I can probably let it go. I still think there's maybe a little bit there for me to work with, but for the most part, I can let it go. There's no attachment to it. So this is the approach. This is how I'm welcoming people to use it. No attachment. We're just using it as an aid to help us on this journey. And when it's used in this way, it can really do that. Okay, so I think that's everything that I have to talk about in this video. It's gone on for quite a long time. If you have any questions, anything I've said that resonates with you, maybe this is something that you've tried, maybe something that you're familiar with, maybe you don't agree with me, or maybe it's not for you, whatever it is, whatever you've got to share, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'll be very interested to know what you think also. Otherwise, as normal, if you did like the video, if you could please go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone if you think they need to hear the message, subscribe to the channel, remember to hit the bell notification, and until next time, remember to keep living free and being free.